Welcome. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified of future uploads. So this is the first video of 2020, so I just want to wish all you viewers, all our followers and all our fans out there, I hope you have had a great Christmas and a great New Year, and I hope you all have a very good 2020. So in this video we are going to take a look at this 1965 Shelby Mustang. It's a 350 GT model. We did a lot of work to this car and we only really shot the paint stage that we're showing here. There was just too much work on this car to try and shoot the whole car. It had new wings and doors and there's so much fabrication that went into this car to make everything look absolutely bang on when it was finished. So it just wasn't one of those jobs that we could completely film all of. Now I've just added a little bit of a time lapse of the lining of the car at the start of this video, just so you can get an idea of what we actually did to mark the line work out, because this stage alone I think we spent around about 3 to 4 hours doing that line work. So after we get everything lined out, the next day we then put all the line work across the actual shell of the car and removed the bonnet and the tailgate so we could just do the car stage, and then we did the bonnet and the tailgate after. Now we're going to cover the actual Flowcoat part of the job here, because what we did was we used 4 coats of direct gloss to actually colour the car. Then we went over the whole car with the P1000 absolutely everywhere, door shuts the lot, so that we could paint the stripes on and then give this car a really nice Flowcoat. So first and foremost what I am doing here is I'm just giving these stripes one coat to get a little bit of build over where we painted these stripes on. This will enable me to have a bit of extra film build over these stripes when the car is fully clear coated, so I can block out those edges where them stripes are and leave it with a super smooth finish where we've added these lines on. Now the clear coat that we're using for this car is the Roberlo 610 ultra high solids clear. It's absolutely amazing for jobs like this. I've just mixed this straight clear coat and hardener. We've got no thinners in this whatsoever, and we're running it through our limited edition Iwata WS400 1.3 HD, which is running 2 bar of air. We're running full fluid and the fan 1 3/4 turns out from fully closed. Now you probably will notice I do play around with the fluid once or twice as we're going across the car, but that's just to try and alter the flow between the flat side panels and obviously like the side of the car where I can't get quite as much of a film build on. Now while I am clear coating this, I'm going on the first coat for like a 50-50 overlap, more of a conventional overlap on this clear coat. Now the second coat of clear coat I go for more of a 70% overlap to give it that really nice flat finish and to get that extra film and that extra glassy finish on the actual car. This is something that just before Christmas I actually went out to a shop to do a little bit of a consultation day with them. The 2 guys there, it's not that they were bad painters, just that they don't really paint very often, and they asked if I could go out to them for the day to give them a little bit of advice on how to get their jobs like we get our jobs in our shop. And that is one thing that we actually went through with them. The main 3 things when you're doing any paintwork on a car, in my head the 3 biggest things for me would be the angle of your gun, your overlap and also your speed. I think if you keep every one of those consistent, you will end up with a consistent finish over the whole car. So on this, on the first coat, I'm not worrying too much about getting a really heavy overlap on this first coat. I just want a nice wet coat on this first coat, and then like I say, on the second coat, rather than a 50% overlap, i.e. a conventional sort of way of clear coating the car, I'm going to go more towards like a 70% overlap so I can get a really flat finish. Now putting a 70% overlap does give you a lot more chance of say getting runs and sags and things like that, but because we've got that first coat on there, once this first coat's down we're going to leave this around about 15 minutes, come back in and then shoot the second coat of clear on top of that. That second coat then has got that real nice tacky surface then to adhere to and to grip to, so that 70% overlap will have a lot more to stick to than our 50% overlap first coat. And because you've got that 70% overlap, you're getting a lot more material down, you're going to get a lot flatter finish, and you're just going to have more material to work with if say you're like me And even though we are actually going to flow coat this car, we still did flat and polish this car, because I am a bit OCD in that respect. You know, although we flow coated it, we gave this full car a full mirror finish, top to bottom, inside and out of the doors. You know, every part of this car looked as good, whether it was literally inside the door shuts or the outside of the doors. It matched all the way through. Plus the fact this is a customer who has been to us now a couple of times with some rather nice cars. He's got a really nice collection of cars as well, and being able to take his Mustang, which came in, and it wasn't in bad condition when it came in, it was really rust free, which was quite amazing really for a car of this age. You know, we got rid of no rot on this car whatsoever, but bodywork wise there was a lot of work that needed doing. The panel gaps on it were horrendous all the way around. We spent a lot of time on this car getting all the panels and all the little bits and pieces to gap up absolutely perfect all over the car. And then he wanted obviously a show finish standard paint job on this car, so we went to town as far as priming it and blocking it, priming it again and blocking it out, going around it with fine filler till every single detail on this car was absolutely perfect. I mean, I can't count the amount of times that we took the panels on and off this car during the time that we had it, just to try and make sure that everything was perfect. And if you hang on to the end of the video, you will see all the footage of this car complete, including a little bit of a video walk around that we shot as well. And I have to say, although jobs like this don't put as much money in the bank as, you know, your everyday scuffs and scratches on brand new cars, they really do give you a really good sense of job satisfaction when it's done, especially on a car like this. Flow coating a car like this is extremely difficult. It's so easy to get, you know, if you miss anything when you're tacking and cleaning this car off in the prep stage and then you clear coat over it, you are going to end up with a big bit of black on top of that white paint underneath, and you really don't want that. It'll absolutely ruin a concourse paint job like this. And it's something that, like on this car, I think I started painting this around about 1 o'clock dinner time, and bearing in mind this was in the booth, masked up, first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock. When I got there, I didn't start painting this till 1 o'clock. I spent a lot of time making sure the booth was cleaned out, making sure the gun was clean, making sure the car was blown out in every single nook and cranny that I could get around, anywhere that would hold any dust whatsoever. We even went across the roof filters in the booth and blew them off, and blew the floor just to make sure there was no settled dust on the floor. We really did go to town as far as prep wise on this. We gave it a full clean down with water-based degreaser, and then a full clean down with panel wipe. It was tacked off more times than it needed to be, just to be on, you know, just to keep that extra bit of safety in there when we did do this car. But you know, that couple of hours that I actually spent on the booth and on the car when I was actually doing this really did make the paint job. You know, I mean, when this was painted, it really did not need a flat and polish, I'll be honest. You know, it's just one of those things, when I do a car like this and it comes up really nice off the gun, I sort of sit there and think to myself, you know, we can make it better. You know, so although it was more than concourse as it stood, I really wanted that real show finish over the whole car. So we did go to town and we gave this a full 2000 wet flat, and then a 3000 Trizac, and then a full compound and a full machine polish as well. And it was absolutely stunning, and like a mirror front to back, top to bottom, even going right down and flat and polishing the sills and the inside, those door shut edges, everything. You know, it was a lot of time and a lot of effort to put into a car, but when you stand back and look at the finished job, for me, that's what gives the satisfaction more than anything in this trade, I think. When you know how that car came in and how poorly everything fit. And the paint job wasn't, I won't say the paint job was horrendous on this car. It was an okay paint job when it came in. None of the stripes were in the right lines. None of those have been measured out to the original factory Shelby specs, which we got hold of. They were off by around about an inch in some places, and we spent a lot of time making sure that every single one of them stripes was in exactly the right place, it was exactly the right size, and right down to those factory spec measurements to make sure that this car, you know, when it was done, looked better than it was in the factory. But everything needed to have that factory look. You know, all those lines needed to flow right, and you know, for me, those little details on a job really make a job when it's finished. And they are the small details, but I think those little details really do make a car. And especially when you're talking a car like this, it's not every day that you get to work on a car that's got this much heritage with it, and it's such a nice car as well. You know, they are a really nice looking car. Okay, so second coat of clear now. You can see that I'm going for a lot more overlap now in my coats. I'm not going as quickly, I'm putting a lot more material down. Now obviously you do need to be careful with this, that you are aware of your panel edges and anywhere that you're going to get runs and sags. Don't just go absolutely hammering the paint on a car. It was a couple of months ago actually that we actually did this car. It was a really warm day, so there was no issues with, you know, the booth temperature being low or anything like that. I think the booth temperature on this day was probably running at around about 28 to 30 degrees, so it's really nice and warm. It was ideal weather, and ideal heat in the booth for doing a flow coat. That extra heat is just going to help that clear coat flash off that little bit faster, so you can go that little bit heavier. And that is, you know, something that you do need to think about when you're doing a flow coat job like this, where you are going for a really heavy overlap. Also, having this gun pretty much wide open all the way around this car with a UHS clear, you know, you're putting a lot of clear on, you're putting a lot of film build on in one hit, so you do want to be careful that you're not getting too much of a build up round edges, especially in edges like this, you know, around your door shuts and everything. There's a lot of places there that you could get clear build up and then end up with those runs that in spaces like that you just cannot get rid of. But overall it did come out really nice, and a car like this all day long I would use this Reverlo Chronox 610. It's definitely my favourite clear coat for this sort of a job, and I will leave a link in the description for this clear coat as well, and I'll also leave a link to the Iwata range and the WS400. Now recently obviously I have been favouring the Segolas a hell of a lot. I did have the Segola when I painted this car, and when I painted this car I kind of wished afterwards that I'd used the Segola 4600, but at the same time I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I got this limited edition Iwata to use. You know, it's not something that I got to leave in a box and just look at. You know, it is a gun that I wanted to spray with. Now, although I haven't really used it much since I've shot this video, you know, this Iwata WS400, for the price bracket it's in, it's, you know, compared to all the rest of the guns out there on the market at the moment, like the new Segolas, the new DeVilbiss, the new Sartas, you know, this is a cheap gun now, as far as the actual price range in the market. And I think if you've got a budget of like £300 for a clear coat gun, this is, you know, the best budget clear coat gun, you know, for that £300 sort of budget that you could possibly buy. I think these are still around about, these are only now about 320, something around there, 330 maybe, from PMP Supplies. And you know, you're getting a lot of gun for your money. It is an exceptional spray gun. You know, I've been a big fan of Iwata for a very long time, and I really cannot wait to see what they have in store later on this year. I'm hoping that their new model is going to come out. I've got no idea what the change is going to be, I've got no idea when it's coming out, but I just really cannot wait for the day that I can get my hands on the new Iwata, because, you know, hands down, by far, they are and have been for a long time my favourite gun. For you guys that have been watching for a very long time, you remember that I had the W400 Bel Area. Absolutely loved that gun. Gutted that I got rid of that gun, to be honest with you. I might actually invest in another one of them just to shoot a few more videos with and have a bit of a play around with, because that was one of the very first sort of big money, big brand guns that I actually bought when I started this channel. And these days obviously we get to play around with so many guns. It'd just be nice to get back to where we started, and just get that gun back and have a little bit of play with it and shoot some new videos and some new footage for you guys. Which brings me on to something else. You know, we have moved into a fresh year, we are in a new year now. If you guys have any ideas for future videos, if you want to see some more prep videos or some more repair videos, then drop me a comment. Let us know your ideas of what you want to see. Do you want to see more painting? Do you want to see more tutorial videos on how to paint? You know, shoot some ideas down below and we will do our best this year to get through some of your ideas. We have got quite a few things planned this year anyway, and I have got, at the moment we're just waiting on some new camera gear to arrive so we can completely change some of the angles and also the way that we make the videos to give you guys a bit more detail, and also, you know, a few different views and a bit of a different, you know, viewing aspect which might help you guys out, and also make the videos that little bit more watching and watchable and entertaining for you guys. So if you have got any ideas, drop us a comment and let us know. Also, one thing that I have ended up doing a lot more recently, which is not something that I ever thought that I'd be doing when I started this channel, is I do get approached by more and more shops these days and more painters to go out and spend a day with them and help them out to get, you know, to kind of like work on their skills and help them out to get their jobs a little bit better. If you guys ever want to see, you know, one of those days where I actually spend the day out of my shop at someone else's shop doing some tuition and some training, if you guys want to see something like that, let me know, and you know, the next time I go out I can ask them, and if they're happy for me to shoot some footage while I'm there, then I can do that as well. And that might, you know, if that's something that you guys want to see, just, you know, let me know, and we'll try and get a lot more videos up this year as well. I have been taking a bit of time out this past few months, as you guys probably realised, which has been more time out for me, to work on my sort of physical and mental health as well. It's just a bit of a time when I need a bit of a break and a bit of time for myself, because as much as we are YouTubers and as much as I do make the videos, I am also a business owner and a father and a partner as well. So, you know, every now and again, it, unfortunately, I know it is a bit of a pain for you guys that love watching the videos, but every now and again I do need a bit of time to take a bit of time out just to be me and spend a bit of time on myself, if that makes sense. So this is coming towards the end of this Flowcoat video, guys, and I hope you have enjoyed the footage. This was an exceptional car to work on. It had a lot more work put into it than we ever thought, and it took a lot longer to do than we ever thought as well. But seeing this car when it was finished, you know, getting put onto the transporter, getting shipped back to George, the owner of this car, you know, it just made every single hour of that worthwhile, you know. And unfortunately sometimes jobs do get that way. You get the odd job that takes you twice as long or 3 times longer than you thought, but when you stand back and look at the finished product, you know, there's no better feeling for me. You know, there's no better feeling than being in that booth and painting that car and just turning this piece of metal into a piece of art. That's how I see it. You know, I absolutely love this job. I've been doing it now for a very long time, and like a lot of you guys out there that are watching these videos, I'm still learning. You know, with every new gun, with every new product, with every new material that we get in the shop, you know, we're always trying different ways to try and make things better and more efficient and get a better product for the customers as well. You know, and that's what I love about the job. It's not a job that you're ever going to stop learning how to do something. There's always, every day is like a new school day in this job, when, you know, we get sent a new product or a new spray gun, or we get a new clear coat to try, or at the moment we've just changed over to Leeds and all water base. That's been another little bit of a learning curve because I've been using solvent now for a very long time. It's been a while since, you know, I've been painting with water base, so it's really nice to get back into that again, and we will have some videos coming up on that soon as well. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you guys are sick of hearing me just ramble on now. That is the end of the video, guys. As in all the videos, we have got the final pictures and a little video walk around of this car when it's finished. I've been Tony, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. Bye for now.